live now, brother.
All right.
And we started how we started the last one.
Just like a Jaeger. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, last.
Well.
Mike, you're good with Jaeger?
Oh yeah. There's like all sorts of it's like a museum.
Yeah, dude. How about the SpaceX rocket? I put that shit together. That's my most prized possession. Are you into any of that stuff or rocketry or space and shit like that?
Space. I mean, I know of it. I don't know.
Elon Musk's company.
Yeah, like relanding and saving like probably tons of money relanding.
Oh yeah, reusing rockets and shit.
Yeah, it's like nuts. What did you
yeah, so that model came as like an eBay 3D printed model that I purchased the model by itself, and then I had my one guy print the background. I built like the shadow box thing, and that's why I like tinkering, man. So I put that together.
Yeah, it looks like it's like looks like it's spooled up or something.
Yeah, so that's 3D printing. 3D printing process. It's like layer by layer as it applies the plastic. You've never seen like a 3D printer make molds? Yeah, so it's like a CNC machine essentially.
Yeah, it prints, but like to see that webby, like that.
Yeah, whenever they print like cylinders, you can really see the layering.
Okay.
Cheers, boys. I guess I'll introduce you. We got my friend Anthony Byrd and Mike. I'm sorry, your last name?
Bedsun.
Mike Bedsun. Two Marine friends of mine now. Bird's been a friend for a while, and this is a good friend of his. And bringing him on the podcast to talk about a project that he's on, or a little, I guess, a run that you're doing.
Yeah, yeah. It's the VM 150. It's from pretty much goes Memorial Weekend. It goes from Ludington, Michigan, all the way to Bay City. So it's
all right. Do it on the mitten. Let me see, because I'm not good at my cities on that side.
Ludington's going to be right on Lake Michigan.
Okay.
And then Bay City.
Oh, so you're running across the state.
Straight across.
For some reason, I thought you were running the coastline, because I was like, that'd be a beautiful run.
Yeah.
But across the state.
Yeah, and looking at the topography or whatever, it's like midway through, it's like, I guess, hills, mountains, so it's going to go up halfway through, and then towards second half, at least, it kind of goes downhill, but it's going to be like landlocked the whole time.
So is it like at least scenic? Are you running by woods and beautiful forests and stuff? You're not running by like industrial buildings and stuff?
No, it's going to be, like woods and I think a little bit of hills and stuff, so it should be, I don't know if it's fully like asphalt the whole time or it's gonna be trails. Like I'm novice enough to where I don't know the trails, so I just know it's 150.
Jeez,
and I think they actually added 52-hour run, so that's the cutoff time. Yeah,
I was gonna say there's obviously sleep. No, it's just
you're not gonna sleep.
You're not up for 72 hours.
That's
insane.
52 hours. I mean, I'm thinking
that's ultra marathons, right? Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, sleep and stuff. You gotta incorporate all that with you. Sleep, like little injuries, minor. Yeah. Yeah, I think I'll end up just at like a rest station because every 10 to 15 miles I'll have a rest station. So with like they'll have like a table laid out, a spread of like different kinds of food, Oreo, chocolate milk, like peanut butter.
Let's back this up. As many questions as I have right now, let's back this all the way up because we kind of jumped the gun a bit.
Yeah.
So the reason you're here is because my friend Byrd is here because he started a company, CBD Organics. Now it's called Mayday Organics.
Yeah, Mayday Organics. Yep.
Yeah.
So all organic, THC-free CBD products. Now we're doing, I think we got Beard Balm and some MSM sulfur, which I think
sulfur and stuff.
You've taken pretty much everything we've got except for the Beard Balm.
Beardless right now.
Beardless.
But all that. I mean, everything, the salts and everything for like mainly my ankles. That's usually what kind of goes out first, or goes out on long runs. It's like, just because I'm sitting at almost 200 pounds. So
that's what came up.
Runner body.
That's what came up last week. I was talking to my buddy Frank, and I was like, I'm gonna have a guy on. He's about 200 pounds, jacked, runs 100 miles. Because normally ultra marathon runners are real lanky, slender people.
Yeah.
When you think about them, you're thinking real light on their feet.
Yeah.
But carrying 200 pounds, 150 miles is pretty wild.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It takes a toll. Like I had to change up my whole regimen of like rolling out, like diet, stretching, mentally just having to like kind of, I guess, metabolize the mileage. Like I don't even think about miles anymore. I just think of time. Like I'm like, all right, I'm gonna just be on here. Like yesterday, I ran 3 hours on the treadmill, and it's just I don't even look at anything. I just start drifting in thought.
So you didn't just wake up one day and say I'm gonna run 150 miles. How did all this running stuff start? Because as a guy like me, I can't stand running. It's a chore to me. Cardio is not enjoyable. Did you get like that runner's high stuff and start just?
Yeah, like right
the Marine Corps started.
Yeah, because 2005, like right when I was gonna sign up, like I did the delayed entry program deal. Like it was senior year of high school, and I remember I never ran, just played hockey my whole life.
Okay,
just like Byrd.
Yeah.
And I remember my recruiter reached out to my track coach. not knowing that they knew each other. Like my track coach saw me in the hall and he's like, "Hey, yeah, your recruiter talked to me. He's like, you're joining the track team." And I'm like,
It's because you were a stud runner in the Marine Corps?
I know. It was even before. It was in high school. I was like, oh, okay, I guess I'll run, get in shape for boot camp. And then went out for the team, started running, just doing like little practice runs and stuff for the training. And I kind of dug it. Like it just had that itch to it. I don't know. Something about it was like, I did kind of like the runner high. I got shin splints really bad. So it kind of worked out all the kinks before going to boot camp. So,
yeah, because the normal stories I hear when people go to boot camp is they eat shit for the first 2 weeks because it's
it just hits
grueling.
you all at once.
Yeah.
It's not like the best place to learn really anything if you're going to do it the first
No,
time. Some
it's
kids
just-
learn how to like swim there.
Go,
And I'm like
and
that's
you
the
just,
worst.
You just power through it.
Yeah.
Like, crazy story. We didn't know each other until we went into the Marine Corps, and we lived
Yeah. Right down.
10 minutes from each other.
That's
like, we
wild,
went in separately. You had like mono or something.
Yeah. Yep. Like or they misdiagnosed it, like saying I had mono, but I just had like tonsillitis, something.
Yeah,
To
so
where
you
they.
went in, and like probably a couple months before I actually went in.
okay.
And then we ended up in the same, like infantry training.
Yeah.
Was it
Infantry training, but like unit or ITB training. What is it?
what was it called? MOI or something?
Yeah,
SOI.
SOI.
School of Infantry.
Yeah, School of Infantry.
Jeez.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's like the class you initiated into.
Yeah, so
like,
you go through boot camp, and then depending on what job you select for infantry, they send you off to the grunt school. Well, they thought he got sick, so he was kind of like in a holding platoon before the next one picked up.
Yeah.
And by the time they cleared him, we were like linked up time wise, and then
I got pushed
we
back.
took the recon screening.
Yep, together.
And we're like, oh shit, we're from like the same town, pretty much. And then we were roommates for RIP.
Yep. Oh yeah, I do remember.
We were roommates for RIP.
Certain details.
What's
I pick up
what's
from
Rip's
RIP, what's
like,
RIP exactly?
Recon indoctrination platoon. So pretty much, in
It's
essence,
like a haze fest.
yeah, like they're prepping you for reconnaissance school. So they're teaching you like the fundamentals, like the kind of like the guru to get you mentally prepped for the school.
Mm-hmm.
But then it's not as structured as say BUDS would be. Like there's a BUDS prep school for like the Navy. There's at least like, hey, we got a spreadsheet here of like this is what we're hitting, this are tick marks each week.
Mm-hmm.
Ours was kind of like free for all. Like it was just
Like, what are we doing today? Get your fucking rocks.
Yeah,
We're
get your
doing
shit.
a 20-mile. We're like,
That's
oh,
my question: is when do
sweet.
you weed people out? At what point did people get weeded
Constantly.
out? That's where that's it
Rip
right
is-
there.
Yeah,
from
like,
day one.
The guys
day
that aren't
one,
into
they just
it.
rip you out. Like I remember.
I think that's their goal is to like weed
Yeah.
people out because everyone wants
Sure.
to go. So you
Right.
pass the initial screening.
Which they're like,
to
hey,
get you
that a
into
boy,
RIP. And then RIP is just like
just a
weed out the weeds.
Mm-mm. The people that just wanted the notoriety of being Marine but not doing the work kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, weed 'em out.
Yeah, and they'll get you because it's kind of since there's
I
no
remember
structure
the
to it.
first night in RIP.
Yeah.
This is I keep like rethinking memories
No,
now.
for sure,
The first
for sure.
night of RIP, when you get there, they take all the new like RIP kids.
Okay.
And
They
take
call them
out.
they call them ropers
What do they
because
call 'em?
This
a
is like
fun
hazing
run.
and okay, hazing in college.
Yeah, they
essentially.
take you on a
Yeah.
fun run, and it was like
which the commandant probably wouldn't say it was hate. It was like training, always training.
Always-
he's probably not going to watch this.
Yeah.
Yeah, he might.
Yeah.
He might. Let's get straight around.
So there was a fun run, and they took us out on a run like all night. And at the end, they're trying to get people to quit.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like freezing cold out. I remember like
Oh,
we're on
yeah.
this field. Me and him are like literally like holding each other. 'cause we're
Everyone's
freezing.
in lines like locking arms because it's just where it was Ellis Field.
Yeah.
They called it Ellis Field, but like tree line, and then we're like 100 yards off this tree line. It was like a windy night.
It was
too.
probably
It was
3
chilly.
or 4 in the morning.
Yeah, and you're just soaking wet, like just sweat and
Yeah.
like crawling through wherever. So like that wind takes a toll. It just sucks the wind right out. Like your motivation level just drops. Having that wind keep hitting you, and they keep saying it's not going to end. This is only the beginning. It's night one, so they just get in your head. They just keep
They're trying to get dudes to quit. And
Constantly.
probably a lot of people probably did.
yeah. Because
And
you,
it
you
was-
don't even know names of people yet. You're just people. You're like, all right, hey, you're in charge of this, and you're like, I don't know anyone yet.
When you guys joined, I'm trying to give people context to when you guys joined this, when this RIP was going on. We were in the heat of the Middle East, kind of like Afghanistan, Iraq. What were we into here? What year was this?
This was 05, 06.
Because that's when everybody was very patriotic. Everybody wanted to go fight overseas, but like not a lot of people were actually pulling the trigger like you guys actually going and doing it, right? Everybody, even me as a Middle Eastern myself, I wanted to go and fight for the U.S. and obviously had a a few things in the way, but you guys went and did it. And what was like the climate? Like at the time, it was like you were trying to do your duty. Did you want to do it just because you know?
I did it because I was going down a fuck up path, dude. I was like living with my buddies, playing hockey, boozing every day, partying.
So you had like no direction,
girls.
kind of. You just wanted to like have some kind of like structure to your life.
I think
maybe?
I watched a few videos online. I'm like, college sucks. I didn't want to go to class.
It's not for everybody. I tell everybody it's not for
I
everybody.
really like walked into the recruiter's office and I was like, I want to be a Marine. They're like, what? No one just walks in here.
Just like easy,
like, yeah, man.
easy pickup.
And I was 21, so I was a little bit older.
Which is
it's old for an entry Marine.
Yeah,
yeah. I mean,
for boot camps, like a 21-year-old seems like an adult. Like me being 17, doing like 18, I was like.
Oh, you went in it. So you guys are 2-3 years apart.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was weird. Even my rack mate in boot camp, like you have like little bunk rack mate people. And he seemed like he was like an old man, and he was probably only 24.
Right, isn't that wild? You look back now, you're like, dude. Yeah.
But like his maturity and just the way he like handled stuff, I'm like, oh, all right. Well,
I was thinking about this the other day. They
let
let guys enter at 17, but you're not able to drink, you're not able to smoke, this and that. But they're able to put a gun in your hand and go fight, right? So it's just.
Yeah, I mean, I got in trouble for it. I got in trouble while I was like pre-Iraq for drinking underage, like.
Yeah, dive school.
Yeah,
Jesus,
which is wild. Like they're like, oh man, yeah, you're good at shooting, you can dive and do all this stuff, and then they're like, yeah, drinking. Everyone knows you're doing it, but you get a little slap on the wrist for underage drinking. But
so give a guy like me that doesn't really know much about military structure, the Army, Navy, Marine disciplines and how they're different and why there's like a little rivalry between you guys. Like who's obviously all the Marines and SEAL teams are known as the badasses. You guys are fucking badasses in your own right. But is it like bragging rights between the three, or is it like?
That probably stems from like the beginning of like
whole...
Ton Tavern, like Marine Corps was birthed November 10th, 1775 in Philadelphia. Yeah, in a bar, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
I didn't know this. Okay.
Yeah, it was Captain. What is his name? Captain.
You were down this year for the
I know, for the Marine Corps.
I don't remember it.
Yeah, it was a blur.
Okay, so it was
a captain. Pretty much, the
infancy was inside of a bar.
Yeah, it was inside a bar, and they told this captain to be like, "Hey, we need to get guys like these British are kicking our ass. Like we need to
special force.
Yeah, we need two battalions of guys that are just like ruthless to come on these ships and start shooting these guys and jumping ship and taking over their stuff." So it started there. Samuel L. Nichols. That's his name. Captain Samuel L. Nichols raised 2 battalions of Marines.
Yeah, good call. You would have looked bad in frront of your buddies now pulling that name out.
Yeah, they're probably like, yeah, that's the wrong guy. But I mean, that stemmed from there. I mean, Army was there first. We're like the Navy. We're Department of the Navy.
Okay.
So that's always we get
so
shit
there's
to the Navy. Like we're like their like our Uber drivers.
Gotcha.
Take us to wherever. Army's just they're bigger.
The missions are different.
Yeah.
Like, the Army is like an occupying. Force. Like the Marines go in. And just typically, there's other like special operations units that do other stuff, but like on paper, I guess the Army would go or the Marines would go in and kind of get a foothold.
Yeah,
and the Army would come back in, behind
and backfill
and build a base or whatever, and then it's just kind of.
But you guys are first boots there. You guys are first boots.
Yeah, and it is they always say first to fight, and like the Marine Corps is the only one that has it doesn't need congressional like anything. It's just straight like if Trump wants to be like, hey, we're gonna just knock out.
Oh, you operate on your own accord. You don't need permissions.
I think they have a 30-day. I forget the exact window timeline, but like Marines are literally off the chain. If they want, they can just spark it up and go. Like so it's within.
I mean, the Army's got like airborne and Rangers and that.
Yeah,
but, like for the conventional.
Like real quick, like
conventional
attack.
Forces. Yeah, I think Marines are just like green light.
So they have that non-oversight initially. So that kind of gives them that advantage.
I think that's why you guys have to the public. That's why you guys have that aura of like badassery that you don't need permissions. You guys are the ones that are top of the headlines. You guys get all the notoriety, but I think it's well deserved.
Yeah, it's a wild group.
A
wild group of people.
What'd you guys serve time in? Where'd you guys go overseas? You guys did a few years in Iraq, Afghanistan.
Together. After we went through RIP and all that stuff in the pipeline, we were in different platoons.
They always shuffling the staff.
Yeah, we both went to Fallujah together.
Everyone.
And then I think you went to Afghanistan after Fallujah. I went to EMU.
Yep, Helmand Province in Afghanistan in 2009. ish. Yeah.
Yeah, because you guys went to Afghanistan. We went on the Mew. And fuck, we got out pretty much.
Yeah.
And we started the next chapter.
I had to do like a 5-month extension. Pretty much just add more time onto my contract. Like you normally, like you enlist, you like guarantee 4 years. Like, hey, I'm doing 4 years no matter what.
And it's a job. You're getting a salary. You're collecting a salary, or is it?
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh,
is
yeah,
it
yeah.
paid on the back end? I mean, how does that all work?
First and the
'Cause
15th.
Yeah, first and
Got
15th.
beer
of
money
each
coming.
month.
So it's not just the college tuition thing at the end of it that you
No,
receive
and
as
most
well.
people don't even use that. Like you have to pay into that. Like the first year, it's like deferred whatever. They take money out of your paycheck. Most people, because I mean, the recruiter will sell it or whoever, which is a good thing.
Sure.
They'll say, hey, yeah, we're gonna take money out of your paycheck, but then school's paid for, covered, if you choose to go.
Okay.
Which I think most guys don't even use it. Like,
Sure.
'cause they don't even see it in their paycheck. They don't even know they're in boot camp getting paychecks.
Yeah.
You're using that to buy uniforms. Like you have to buy all your stuff.
I
It's not
gotcha.
like
Yeah,
hey,
yeah.
we're issuing it.
There's like a little store, right? A little
Yeah.
shop over there.
Yeah, little PX stuff, and you'd think like even the dress blue photos, like all looks good. That's just you've got to pay for all that. So,
But it's like required. Like,
yeah,
you're
like,
oh,
like you need
next week we're wearing these. You're like,
Yeah,
I, gotta go buy, I have to go buy them.
But I mean, your room and board, your housing, your food is all
Yeah,
covered. So
everything's-
for the most part, you're banking a lot of your
Oh
your
yeah,
income.
yeah. I mean,
dude,
you're
if you look
spending
at
on
it,
beer and
Like people are like,
whatever.
oh, how was your time in? I'm like, it's fucking awesome. Like, I mean, really, I was
Oh, yeah,
21,
no.
but you were younger, for
Yeah,
18 years
sure.
old, making
Oh.
like once we got into recon,
Paychecks. I mean, all you had was a car
paychecks are
payment,
decent.
maybe. Yeah.
Car payment, you get basic allowing for housing, so they're giving you money to like live out in town.
And you're 21, so it's not like you got a mortgage back at home. You're still
No,
paying on or
nothing.
something.
I mean,
you're living with your buddies.
you're
You-
freewheeling.
And I mean, really, it was like, what's going on this week? Who's buying beer?
That's awesome. Yeah,
And
yeah.
like, how fucked up are we getting this weekend?
Pretty
And
much.
repeat.
Yeah.
So-
yeah.
And when are we deploying?
Yeah.
Not
On
the.
repeat.
I don't want people thinking that you guys it was just a big party down there, right? So you guys learned a lot of things. You got some structure to your lives, and
Oh,
you've,
perfect. Yeah.
you've come back with something that normal people that haven't served, an experience, life experience. I told you this last time I talked to you. I said in your 20s, you at least had something to look back on, and I did some shit in my 20s. Me, I was that guy just partied on the weekends, made some money working, and it blew by. And now I look back and I'm like, fuck, I don't even have a story to tell.
Yeah.
But you guys have at least a hell of a story to tell.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, we were 21 years old,
I mean,
diving, jumping out of airplanes.
That's crazy.
Driving submarines underwater, operating crazy amounts of weaponry.
and
like-
being told to like, yeah, like, hey, like even to be like, oh, you're behind enemy lines or any of that stuff like that still doesn't register in my brain of like the significance or like
The
that.
threat? Did you ever
Yeah,
feel
like-
like the threat of?
There was, I mean, there was a heightened sense of like, okay, this is real deal. Like,
But you always
but
felt like you guys had a hold on things.
yeah,
You were never, it was never out of
very
hand.
confident,
where,
very
yeah.
confident, and like, I mean, everyone, like, which at the time I'm thinking, oh, this is run of the mill. This is normal. This is how
Yeah, this is
everyone's
normal.
studs. Everyone that I knew was just a stud, like a freak of nature, like
Sure.
that were just super strong, smart, quick. And I'm like, all right, well, this
Oh,
is
this is
I'm
how it's
18. This
supposed
is,
to be.
I'm out of
This is
high
how it
school, and
is.
this is where studs are. And
Yeah,
then-
but you were like you were in the top 10% of fucking males in your
yeah.
Marine Corps.
Yeah, didn't even think of it. It was just normal place. So thinking back, I'm like, yeah, that is. I mean,
Yeah, it's crazy.
some of those guys, you're just like, Jesus, I'll never see some of that stuff ever, unless they were like an Olympian or a professional athlete. You're like, shit, we were like an Olympic athlete.
You guys still keep tabs on a lot of the guys you were in there with, or is it kind of
Yeah,
everybody does their own
it's-
thing? Or?
Yeah, like
I mean, even
Yeah, between you guys live
Yeah,
close.
we're right
I mean,
here. I mean, even guys touch
There's there's-
Facebook, social. I mean,
yeah, I mean, social
groups
media
and
makes it easy. For
Yeah,
to keep
and you're
tabs on
always-
everyone.
at least you're pinging off each other a little bit. You're not like actively like Kozub or buddies that we
Larson,
have. Like, yeah,
And
we're
the cool thing is, like, I haven't talked to some of my buddies in probably 2 years,
Mhm.
and they could call me right now, and it'd be like,
good
we
flight.
hung out
or-
yesterday, like, oh, what's up, man?
Yeah.
right, right.
It's crazy
it's
how you
weird.
just pick up.
Yeah, and it's not even like mutually. There's no like negativity of it. It's like, hey, I haven't seen you in 4 or 5 years. Like, what's up?
Yeah.
Like, carry right where you left off. Probably the same jokes, like things that you didn't even think of. You're like,
Right.
oh man, we're carry right off on it.
Not even being at war, but like the adversity of you guys like going through training and getting your asses kicked together, that puts a bond between you guys, I feel like.
Oh yeah.
Well, a lot of people don't understand like the dynamic. Even like my wife Sarah, like he'd come over, and we get all fucked up or whatever, and like the way we talk to each other, like it's just
Sure.
normal people are like, these guys must hate each
Yeah,
other.
it's fucking savages.
And that's how my
It's
friend
just,
group is. You just razz each other.
Don't get me
Yeah,
wrong.
for sure.
I'm saying like there's a lot of partying involved, but it's because we went balls to the wall for so long.
Yeah.
Like play hard.
Yeah, work hard, play hard. Yeah, and a lot of it, like, you see people's weaknesses, like, real, like, to the bone. I mean, it's not like, I guess, like, I don't know, in training or anything, you'll see people, like, break down. You'll just see them, like, break down mentally, physically, but you're all doing it at different times. So you're picking each other up, so you get to see that, like, just, hey, this is raw, this is, like, exactly, that's just you freaking out right now.
Sure.
And it's okay, like, it's fine. And then, which normally, I don't think even friends that I've had since, like, a kid, I'd never normally see that. But then guys that I just met, and we, like, hung out and trained for 4 or 5 months, a few years, it's like, boom, you get right down to that, like, level of, hey, man, you've seen me, like, totally torn up to where it's okay.
Dude, I say this all the time, that our society now is so nerfed. It's so easy to live a very comfortable lifestyle right now that nobody's ever gone to the threshold that you guys have gone. And not only in training, but experiences that you've had. You can live to be 100 years old and never really push yourself more than just 20%, I'd say.
Yeah.
And you guys have been way past that. You guys have been through mental barriers and shit. Not to put words in your mouth, but I'm assuming it's way more than the average Joe. And I think that's why you come home and do the shit you do. You want to run 150 fucking miles. You want to start a fucking business from the ground up and not do the 9 to 5 like Byrd. I mean, is there something in not just you two, but in your Marine friends that make you want to come home and do something bigger than just the norm? I feel like you started a company from the ground up. Obviously, Mike, you're doing some big shit.
Yeah, like running. I mean, it's
is it like more
simple.
of a challenge? Like you don't want to just coast through life?
The mentality.
Yeah,
If you look at a lot of guys that were in fucking recon with us. I mean, there's lawyers, doctors.
Yeah, I mean, there's
a lot of
self-made millionaires. I mean, just because it's just like a weird. It's brilliance in the basics. Like, I always think about it, even for running, like mile by mile, step by step. It's just like, don't focus on like the big thing of it. Just keep doing your best on that little bit of it. And I feel like that's how a lot of like Nate and all those guys like thrive off of.
Yeah, like
I know how to like control
hard.
The small wins, right? The small wins,
small little stuff.
Yeah.
It equals like big.
Like you're not thinking of like, hey, Mayday. Like I'm. This is the business. I already got the whole plan. I've been writing this shit up. It's like, hey, I can be really good at this little part of it, and then keep kind of like multiplying that, like all these little tiny things, which kind of goes straight from like the Marine Corps. Is always brilliance in I mean, your little boot camp. You're like, hey man, I just need to get online as quickly as I can, as efficiently, get dressed as quickly and just efficiently as possible. Run the guys just as quick as I can do it, and that kind of just. If you keep that same mentality on every little basic thing, it kind of works itself out. It's weird.
Like a lot of stuff's not hard in life.
And it's not
life, if you think about
very logical.
Yeah.
If you break it down, like not really step by step, but like as a basic idea.
Yeah, if you have that as your doctrine of like, hey, I'm going to just do everything as best as I can on that little thing, and then it kind of like multiplies and manifests itself.
Because the idea of like starting a company or doing a run, you see the end game, you're like, wow, I'm never gonna do that, right? But if every day you put something that's gonna help you get closer to that goal, whether it be chunks of running or starting a business and doing the small stuff, starting the LLC, doing the paperwork, putting the website,
day to day, like
day stuff, right?
On paper. There's a list of like 100 things, right? And you're like, oh my god,
it's overwhelming.
There's no way I'm gonna be able to do this. But then you're like, all right, tomorrow I'm just gonna do the LLC, or tomorrow I'm gonna do a 15-mile run.
Yeah.
And if you understand, if you do all those steps,
kind of compartmentalize everything.
Yeah,
like make it like very easy to digest.
Yeah, day to day, and then at the end you're gonna be like holy shit, I just ran 150 miles.
Yeah.
Right.
Looking back, you're like, well, I just did everything.
Like all the checks in the box that I needed to do.
Yeah.
And your end goals.
Yeah. And I mean, it's gonna be a shitty. You're gonna have ups and downs, and like I already know mentally, it's like it's gonna be a whole thing. It's gonna.
I'm gonna eat shit for the next 3 days.
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty wild. I'll probably hallucinate a little bit. Probably break some toenails off. Like I already know. Yeah, like, and that's what with even boot camp or RIP, what we were talking about before. It's like they taught you kind of some fundamentals, but then they, at least for me, it probably with everyone else did the same thing. You just kind of get used to making uncomfortable comfortable. Like you like know everything sucks, like or
And
it's
it helps
gonna
when
suck, and
everyone else is going through the same thing.
Yeah,
like,
and they promise you only more like shittier times. Like it's not like it's like some like, hey man, like,
There's a rainbow and you're gonna go home.
Yeah, they never had it at the end where they're like, hey man, once you guys graduate, it's gonna be all different. It's like, no, they promised you when you graduated, it's just gonna get worse. Like
and
so,
more complicated.
Yeah, and more
now
complicated.
you're gonna be doing this on top of being cold, wet, tired, and hungry.
Yeah, and they're like, then it's like lives on the line. It's not like
It's
not like sugar coated. Like, oh, this is great. It's like, hey, congratulations, you graduated.
Yeah.
Now the pain starts.
There's not a graduation party waiting for you with a keg at the end. Yeah, so we're on the second round of it. So let's talk about your run here because I got so many questions and we've already burned through 30 minutes of it. Yeah, so.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, it flies, dude. It's crazy. All right, so to start at the beginning, so I listen to a lot of podcasts, and there's a lot of guys that I've listened to that do what you do. Like David Goggins, you've heard of Goggins, right? He's the ultramarathon runner. He's the inspirational guy that everybody watches. Cameron Haynes, he does it as well. I don't know if he does as many runs, but he's fucking badass.
Yeah, still name. Yeah,
he kills it. Just that mentality, man. I'm like inspired by it. I couldn't say that I could do what you do. I like lifting weights. I like training, but running and like pushing myself that hard, I'm inspired by guys like you. So like, I don't know. I guess talk about some of the steps or struggles that you face doing it, man. Or is it not really a struggle for you, man?
No, I mean it's a struggle. Like it's a weird dynamic. I mean, going back how we talked about like doing track stuff, like I wasn't used to that. Like getting shin splints, like just being like out of my element. Then kind of you build so many little baby steps constantly throughout training, doing the Marine Corps, contracting. Always kind of kept running, but like last year it was like our mutual friend that was in the Marines, Greg Jankowski. Like he little did he know, he was like, hey, let's sign up for this run. The shirt that I'm wearing, like just today it was like So this
is the big run here, North County
Trail. This was last year. It was like some marathon in the Manistee National Forest mountains, just running around. Mm-hmm. He was like, "Hey, let's do it." Like him and a couple other buddies signed up. We're like, "Yeah, fuck it, we'll run that thing." So that got the gears working of like, all right, I got to train for this.
Normally, guys do a fucking Spartan race or a mud runner.
Yeah,
they don't say
let's do
like,
let's go run a. How long was this one?
26.2
in the woods.
In the
Not
woods.
Just let's do a run on pavement. Let's just do it in the woods.
What's tougher on running? Is it running on asphalt, a trail, uphill, downhill? What's tougher that you've experienced?
Trail running's probably going to be harder. Just even pacing and, I mean your foot
elevation
stuff. Yeah, elevation. Sure. Potential of injury. I mean, I ate shit like I think 3 or 4 times on this race where I'm like running or I catch a root and I trip and fall and roll in the tree line and get up and keep running. Mm-hmm. But I think it's more fun. But to each their own. I mean, people that are running, some people like running.
Is the scenery better?
Yeah,
like
straight
in the woods.
That's what I think. I think running in the woods.
You get lost in your own thoughts, and then you're subconsciously focused on like right in front of you, like right in the event there. Like you can't just be like, oh, I see like 2 miles up ahead.
Yeah.
You're just like, okay, here's this turn.
To me, I see like the primitive aspect of running in the woods, like it gets you more in touch with like the human aspect. We're running on an asphalt or like in a city street. I just don't see the romanticism of running blocks of street.
Yeah, and you can get it, and I guess everyone's got their own thing. You know, everyone likes their own stuff.
Right.
But like it's it can be fun, but like the trail, like if I had to choose, trail's just better. And I've only done a little bit of it. Even the 150 mile, I think it's going to be a little bit of trail, a little bit of like just open road, like next to parallel on a highway.
Sure.
But it'll still be good because you're just out in the.
So how many guys are doing this? How many guys are doing your run? Are you like in a giant mass of people? Is this like, are you guys spread few and far between?
I think it'll, because honestly I'm not.
You'll be running next to someone the whole time?
Yeah, or like people have pacers.
Spaced out.
Usually people have like pacers within, I think the first 50 miles, I think. I have to read up on the rules of like, because there's legit, I guess, rules defined where you can't have somebody run next to you from the start. Because it encourages you the whole time. It helps you out. You can't have people...
So that's like your support runner? Like
and you can't have people mule for you. They call it muling.
Carrying your gear.
Yeah, just carrying everything, and then I just get to run and hand me water bottles. So you got to carry everything.
If I was like, yeah, I'll do it with you.
Yeah, like you can't be carrying...
I'm just like chugging along.
Yeah.
Like water bottle on my back.
Yeah, that's what they call like supported and unsupported. Or
whatever, right? So at a certain point, I want to say it's like 40 miles in, that you can have a pacer, which helps mentally, especially when you're tired. Like just to have somebody, even if they're not saying anything, you just kind of see them there, or they're just talking or listening to music or something.
Yeah.
Helps you out mentally, especially when you hit those. You're gonna hit lows. You're just gonna hit like where you're like tired or like fatigued, or it's like little cycles where you're just like, oh, my heart rate's going up, and I just feel like shit. Like I just want to like stop right now. But then all of a sudden, you have confidence in the sense that, I guess, previous runs you're like, all right, yeah, no, I can kind of push through that and then get into the high again.
So, like diet wise, what are you doing for your diet? Pre, during?
Well, he did 2 shots a year.
Obviously, your alcohol intake is something else, but you're a Marine, so you can.
Somewhere within the past week.
So you're not heavily strict on diet pre or during. Or...
No, I mean I try to keep it somewhat clean. Like I eat like rice, chicken.
Right, bro food. Just,
like carbs, like a little bit. Like I'll make pasta once a week just to kind of, especially on a longer run. If I know I'm going to do a 30-miler, I'll try to get like something decent in there. I'm not like pure Billy Goat eating trash and like styrofoam cups, but you know.
By the way, guys,
not as good as like an Olympic athlete. Probably.
Mike walks into this podcast today and he's got a 15-pack of Blue Light, and I said, "All right, you do it right." And then he not only this, he walks in on the coolest set of winter Crocs I've ever seen. They're like furry on the inside, Croc on the outside. Automatically, I knew I liked this guy. I said, "All right, come into the house, dude. You're fucking awesome."
Just keeping it.
I don't know what I expected when Byrd said he's got a Marine friend that runs 150 miles. I was thinking I was going to see a Jocko Willink.
Like a
this
6
guy's
foot tall string bean.
Fucking no. So the opposite, right? So you told me he was 200 and jacked, but ultimate badass, which obviously you two are. But I thought this guy was gonna be a very stern, no bullshit guy, and then I see Mike come in with Crocs, and I was like, all right, I like this guy.
Yeah, it's probably the opposite.
I said, what's up, buddy? Come in the house. Let's go.
We're good. Got Grumpy Cat staring at me. It was great.
Yeah. No, that's cool.
King. Yeah.
What were we going? He's upstairs taking a nap in his little bed, dude. He's chilling. Yeah, they sleep like 18 hours a day. These fuckers.
Like
they got the best
bears.
life.
Yeah,
they got the best life.
Sweet. I'm guessing with like what we're going on before, like with the running of like the limit. I mean, being exhausted the whole time. No, running for a long amount of time. Sleep wise, that's still.
Sure. I'm still confused how you're getting any naps in.
Yeah, I haven't done a run
confused.
yet where I've needed a nap. Like, so I'm breaking.
So you're talking
I'm talking about like landing on the moon for me in a couple months. Like I don't. It's kind of question marks. Like I don't know.
What's pace? How many miles can a human being run a day? 24 hours. What's you guys' pace? What's pace?
Google. I think like there's people that are like.
What do you?
I mean, record breakers. I want to think like 130,
Well, I do
140,
is running
150.
a marathon a day for
Like
every
30
state
days
or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's guys that do that.
Which you can do. I mean,
what's a marathon? What's the number of a marathon? How many miles is a marathon?
26.2.
26.2. And everybody does 5Ks. 5Ks are what, like 5 miles, 6 miles? What is it?
Yeah, 5K, 3.1.
3.1 miles?
0.6 miles and 1K, so it's...
Yeah. 3.1 exactly.
Yeah.
Like,
everyone's like, "Oh, get the 5K sticker." I'm like,
yeah, what is that, dude? I walked to the bar in 5K. Let's go.
Which, yeah.
That's cool, but...
Yeah, you're building up. That's like the baby steps. It's like the brilliance and,
Where they have downtown Wyandotte?
The pub crawl or whatever. Some bar crawl.
They got the 0.5K.
The 0.5K.
Yeah, David Chuck 3.5K.
Is that where you started? You started doing 5Ks and this and that? Or did you just jump right into these crazy marathons?
Like Marine Corps was 3 miles. That was like the standard. That was like their physical fitness test. It was like, hey,
3 miles and what? How much? What's the pace on 3 miles?
Perfect scores 18 minutes. So like 6-minute miles, 10 miles an hour.
That's impressive. Yeah, definitely above average.
And that's like what, that's what you did. That 20 pull-ups and 100 crunches or whatever.
That gets you in. That's base mark.
You're like, boom, you're in there. All right, now you got to think on your feet. You can be a physical stud, but you could be not acclimated to a dynamic little thing going on with.
That's what I've always heard with Marines and SEALs in particular. Is you're not just a dummy grunt that can lift weights, right?
Yeah,
you're fucking intellectual as shit. You're smart.
And it's weird because it's like a circus group of people. Yeah, like I'd like to think that like everyone like what's his the big dude that's on podcast that Navy SEAL guy.
Jocko?
Yeah, Jocko.
Jocko's
not everyone looks like a Jocko.
That's like, what I envisioned you come. I envisioned Jocko walking in my door today. I was like, fucking a little intimidated.
And it's kind of like the alternative of that. It's like a circus. It's like a circus act of people, like all different groups. I mean, there's doctors, dentists, lawyers now that like, after Marine Corps, but then there it's like, it's a weird dynamic of like little Lance Marston. They call him Shark Bait because he was like a little like chum in the water, like little mini guy that was just a stud.
Garrett, big.
Garrett,
You look at him.
he looked
with clothes on. You're like, this guy
is just
can't run 3
overweight.
miles to
Really?
save his life. And
But he was just in
Just
shape.
a stud.
Just didn't look in shape, but he was in shape.
oh,
looked
just a stud.
absolutely out of shape. He is a physical phenomenon. Like he looked just a like he looked like a Buddha, like a
What?
Buddha. Like he just was like
Was he like an ultimate strongman, like a strongman body?
yeah, like a weird.
Because those
but-
strongmen are like huge.
Yeah,
but
Here's
Yeah.
Garrett. We would all be going out after a hard week of training, going out to dinner or whatever. We'd be like, Garrett, what are you doing? He would go in the woods and chop down trees.
Yep,
And
dig
dig fighting
fighting
holes
holes.
and sleep in him over the
the
weekend.
fuck?
Yeah.
That's what he did for
That's
fun.
what he did for fun.
and he's still in. I mean,
Dude, can I
he's-
have this guy on my podcast?
Yeah, seriously, this guy.
I don't know.
He would be. Yeah, you'd have to probably liquor him up to get him
Oh,
to
yeah.
talk.
That's
like
funny.
pretty hard. Because he's
Was he a country boy? You sounds like a guy that
Iowa.
lives.
Okay.
Okay.
Iowa.
Yeah,
wrestler.
steak and potatoes kind of fucking
Yeah.
guy. I got
Straight
you.
up steak and potatoes.
I got
every
you.
day.
I got
Just
you.
a goofball. But then you got him mixed in with like a guy from Boston that's like a masshole. Like that's just straight up loud talking, just obnoxious.
So you did have
And
those
their
movie
team-
cliches. You had every character was
Oh,
like out of a movie.
yeah,
Like,
you
yo,
got
you're
one.
that guy. You're this guy.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
cowboy
dude.
hat guys. You had
Yeah.
assholes. You had fucking
Yeah.
Iowa.
You had this shy guy that came in, and you kind of had to watch out for him. I'm sure you had like guys that
Oh,
looked
yeah.
after and shit. Yeah.
quiet, like
Yeah.
just sleeper cell guys. Just it was just really weird, and to be all put to the same standards, it's like very odd. But that's how it all started, like 3 miles, and then you with the running there, and then doing longer runs. Then it just kind of was like, oh yeah, marathon sounds good. Or even training, we'd do like unknown distance running or rucking. Like they're just
Oh,
like,
yeah.
hey, here to you don't know.
That's like the hiking with the weight on your back rucksack or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you just kind of do like combat gear load. You want 60 to 100 pounds,
Jesus,
just stuff,
man.
and then you're like, hey, you don't know when it ends. So like mentally, that kind of throws you for a little loop because
It's got to end
In
here.
the Marines, what do they
Run
call
for
your
hours.
what do they call your guy that's leading the platoon? What do they call that guy? Sergeant, a lieutenant? What do they call
yeah,
you
like a
guys?
gunnery sergeant usually, platoon.
That's the guy
commander.
telling you what you're doing that day, and
Yeah.
he knows what's going on, but you don't.
Yeah, he's orchestrating,
Yeah.
and you're just kind of along for the ride, which kind of preps you because
You're like, all right.
yeah,
well,
warfare. You're
go.
not. You don't know. Like you're like, hey, I'm in my hide site or I'm doing this mission. It's like, well, right at the end, you think, oh, the finish line's there. Like there's no finish line. There's no like, hey, it's I'm inside the wire now. I'm good. It's just shit pops off, and you're like, oh, well, now we got a lot more hours left.
Have you done one of these yet, or is this your first big one?
First long distance, like official bib number.
What's the
running.
longest you've done?
Right now, training runs is 86 miles.
Holy shit!
Which that came down to that was a few months ago. It was in November, and it was like raining and windy the whole time. So it was like
And you ran on a track too, which
yeah, it was
I
like
see.
in Elizabeth Park. So it was
Yeah.
like it was just
You did
constantly-
86 miles on a stationary track.
Elizabeth
Yeah.
Park.
Holy shit!
So
That in
it's
itself
That's
is
like 50 laps around
impressive.
Elizabeth Park.
Yeah, and it was
Holy crap!
misty, rainy the whole time, and then at some points it was howling wind so bad that I'd like lean forward. Guys that were like pacing with me, like just
Yeah.
driving in the truck, they're like, "This is ridiculous." They're rolling up the windows because it was just obnoxious, and I'm like trudging along, and I didn't have at the end of it, 86 miles, like 16 hours in. Everyone kind of left, and I was on my own, and I
Yeah.
didn't have. If I would have, I'm gonna tell the fire department here on my next training run, just to come out and just check and just give me vitals real quick, just to make sure I'm good. 'Cause I know I'm tired, and
Yeah,
I'm gonna push
yeah.
through, but then I might push through to a point where I just walk off in the woods and just like fall asleep and hypothermia.
My question here is: you're not doing this with a camera crew behind you. You're not doing this for internet media sensationalism. You're on your own running this thing for your own
Just
kind of happiness or goals or whatever you want to do. Like, what's going through your head when you're doing this? Why, like me, 2 miles in, I'm like, fuck this, I'm done, dude. I'm gonna call my girlfriend, come pick me up, I'm out of here, dude. Like, what keeps driving you? That's insane to me. Like at the end
Probably
of
a
like,
question I asked myself. A lot of like micro thoughts, a lot of like just in the mix, like you kind of get in this flow. Like for at least
I've
for
heard
me,
of flow
like
state, yeah.
I'll kind of get into like
A runner's high kind of
yeah, like a
thing.
runner's high, or like I'll get at the beginning. I'll resist a lot mentally. I'll be like, all right, like the 2 miles in, you're like, fuck, man, achy. All right, this doesn't feel right, and you just kind of like fight yourself a little bit, and you're like, all right, that's wasting energy. Let's just accept everything. This is good. Let's keep it going. I like plan stuff. I think of just wild ideas and like thought processes. Like normally that's like my best thought. It's just when when I'm running, I'm kind of like in like a Zen state in a weird way. And I never planned or read on it or trained to do it. It just naturally happened. I'm like, okay, nice and loose. Let's think about this. And then when it's those lows, when you get like just real tired, or you just get real bent out of shape, or you just know like, man, my ankles hurt, or my legs hurt, or whatever happens.
Well, injuries.
You kind of dwell on that, and then you gotta kind of steer your mind away from that, because it's not helping anymore. You're like, why am I thinking of all the negative stuff right now? And you just kind of constantly like, it's almost like rewiring your brain each time. You're like, all right, I got like, feel like crap right now. Now let's feel good. All right, you feel good, you feel great, and then you start thinking like,
it's a mental game. It's a huge mental game.
I put that past me. Like, and I mean, granted, physical, you're putting miles in your body. I mean, muscle fibers, breaking down and stuff. But I haven't yet. Once I answer that question, I'll probably maybe stop running. I just don't know what it is yet.
So, like I said, I've listened to a few guys that do like Mike Posner. He recently ran across the U.S. from obviously the East Coast to the West Coast, and he did it in bites. I think he did it in 30 days. Yeah, it wasn't a run; it was a walk.
Yeah, and walking and running with these long distances, you're not running the whole time.
Sure.
Like you're
even just hiking them with a little walking stick or whatever.
You're moving though.
That's a mental game for sure. I think he was doing 24 or 30 miles a day or something like that.
Did you get to points, where you're walking's like a effort.
You're like, oh man, I've got to be halfway. And you look at the map, you're like, I've gone a sliver. You're like,
I've got a tick mark.
I drive 100 miles and I'm like, all right, we there yet, dude? Like 100 miles on a car, and you're not doing anything. You just hats off to you, man. Let's talk about some stuff you guys are doing together here. So between Mayday and
for a while, he's doing all these runs, and I said, hey man, he was taking the salve and the oil and stuff from out golfing, and we just kind of chit chat. And I said, hey man, his knees were hurting him. I said, dude, try this oil or try this salve, and he did, and he liked it. And then he said he's doing this 150-mile run. And I said, dude, let's
okay. Yeah, okay.
I said, why don't we talk to you with Outrun and Mayday and do like a little
collab.
Collab, and
I love it. Yeah,
you can work out.
You came in with that idea and Outrun, the theme of Outrun. Not like literally outrunning your goals here, but elevating yourself every day, and that's obviously what you're into.
Yeah.
So I think it aligns really well, man. I love being part of it.
It's I mean, just even any of that stuff, because normally it's like, military would be Motrin, water, change your socks. That's like their catch-all, fix yourself.
The crazy thing is it works, too.
Yeah.
Like,
it like anti-inflammatory, like joint-wise, joint pain, pre-run, like a little bit to kind of get you loose and like almost warmed up, stretch out, to get your own little happy medium to get ready to go. Mm-hmm. And then post-run, stretching, diet, all that stuff, take that. And instead of taking like a Motrin or something that's going to, I guess, hard for your body to kind of digest, or your liver, like for Motrin or whatnot. Mm-hmm. It just kind of takes that edge off.
I take it after hockey.
Just aches and stuff. Aches and
hockey, just to kind of calm you.
Like, get you to sleep, because your cortisol levels and everything are just too high. You're amped up from the game, from just skating, and then you're trying to go to sleep and wake up in 5-6 hours. You're like, kind of just relaxes you and gets you back into like, kind of resting state to kind of rebuild it, like, so that next day you're like ready to go again.
So CBD stuff that you don't so you work called Mayday was it hemp company?
Yeah. Organics, yeah.
Well, now it's Mayday Organics, right? So let's talk about that for a second. So even me as a guy that I'm not a big marijuana perpetuant or anything. I've never smoked the stuff, but obviously it's working for some people. So this to me is like, taking it doesn't. I guess it's not a mind-altering stimulant, right? It's just
no, it's not gonna make you high or anything.
So everybody, it's that stigma around it, and that's what I want to eliminate, is the stigma around CBD, right?
Yeah, it's got that's part of the reason why we kind of rebranded. We were Mayday Hemp. Yeah, and I think a lot of people
just that word is got
just
like
that stigma around it, and we wanted to kind of go towards an outdoorsy, like we can carry other organic products now. We got the Byrd balm, the sulfur.
Right, it's health oriented
it's
now.
It's a better image for us in general, right?
Sure.
The organic.
Sure.
Thing.
So to touch on that, like, so one of my friends start a product or start a company, whether it be a clothing line or something like you're doing where it's medicinal. I love supporting. I'm all about it. But obviously, you get the shit for free, and you're still using it. It's not just like, oh, I took it, have a nice day, I'll set it in my cupboard, and never use it again. You're constantly using this for your training. So obviously, it's working. It's not just something that you're taking placebo effect.
Yeah, no, yeah. And I would always think that, I mean, if something works and it's a placebo effect, I guess, run with it still. But like this legit, I mean, recovery time and do back-to-back runs and stuff, it just seems, I mean, it's loosening up your muscles, your joints. I mean, even the organic, the sulfur. I mean,
What's the sulfur? What's that all? Is that a rub or something? What is that?
It's a powder you put in a drink.
Yeah, just a little scoop.
Okay.
It don't even taste. It's just add it. I add it to my coffee in the morning, and I mean, it just
Tasteless
randomly
and
like
stuff?
yeah, you don't even taste it. Like joints, everything. My energy levels seem to be even better. It's weird. Like my fingernails grow more. Like just stuff like your skin and stuff. It's weird.
Overall good.
It seems like
a
it
nutrient.
Okay.
We get it. We used to get it from the food, right? And everything's been over farmed and over processed, and we've kind of lost touch with all the nutrients we used to get. And sulfur was one of them.
What's sulfur in a lot of like natural fruits or vegetables we eat? What's it in mainly? I mean, is it in meats or is it mainly in like organics?
I think it's a lot of stuff that grows,
sure,
like crops,
vegetables and but same with B12, right? So B12 was in a lot of things, but now we've processed B12 out of it.
Over processed. There's the GMO thing. You go down that road, and pesticides and all that stuff. It all affects your food. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And times that by years and years of
constantly
using that stuff and just constantly.
And you get, I mean, people get used to it. Like a lot of my friends that eat just fast food constantly. Like I'm like, I don't know how you survive. If I eat fast food like
I
a couple
feel like
times in a
shit
row, like
for a couple
I feel
hungover
foggy.
now.
Like I feel foggy and just like out of sorts. Like I can't focus. But guys that are, I mean, your body gets used to it, I guess, to where I mean, you can rip down, Mountain Dews and.
Do you eat fast food a lot?
Dude, so I quit it for a long time, but then my girlfriend has 2 children, younger kids, and you kind of have to do the McDonald's thing, man. It's like, oh, you want some chicken nuggets? Let's get those. And then, while we're at McDonald's, let me get a double quarter pounder.
Yeah, tastes so good.
It's delicious, right?
Comes with it, yeah.
But you feel like dog shit after.
Yeah.
And
it's a weird hangover, especially if you're not used to it. You feel.
Dude, it is like a hangover.
Yeah, you feel like
it's amazing when you're having it, but when you're done, you're just like, ugh. What did I just eat?
Yeah. Exactly, and that's what. Yeah, I mean, just kind of minus that, like supplements.
Yeah,
like a good stuff.
Yeah. I've been bad at like taking my multivitamins and supplementing and having a good stack, but I'll talk to you and we'll put together some kind of like daily supplement for me too. Because after my surgery, I really want to like dial in, my health or whatever. Like people know, but I had some colon removed a couple months ago, like a foot of colon. So it wasn't anything I did. It was more genetics. They had to remove something from me and whatever. But I'm really like hesitant about taking something that could, potentially be negative. So I want to make sure everything I'm taking is, organic and not having any negative features.
Sure, man.
So I don't know if it was like the Red Bulls I was drinking or the Jaeger or something, but like
I mean,
alcohol doesn't really help. But I'm not a heavy hitter of alcohol. But even if you eat clean, I had this guy next to me, my roommate in the hospital, 50 years old. This guy named Shane. And he had prostate cancer, and he was a guy that lived off grid. He had a little cabin house, worked at a snow, what do they call it, like some kind of snow resort out west, and he lived organic, never had cable, never watched TV, lifted, very fit guy, and had cancer. It's just you never know. So it's like he didn't pass away, but he had prostate cancer, removed it, and now he's fighting. So you never know what you're taking anymore. That's why fast food is not doing anybody favors, man, for sure. So
No.
But yeah, let's do another podcast after this run. Oh, let's touch on the little documentary you want to do. You said you want to do like a mini doc on Mike's journey.
We kind of threw the idea out. I think it'd be cool if we could kind of catalog his training.
I'd love to help, man. Like I said, I got the video equipment. That'd be awesome. That'd be a cool little mini doc we can throw up.
That'd be, I mean, if you don't even help for it. Yeah, no, I mean, I'm down. I'm just
and how you
just putting in some files. Normally, I'm like by myself. Just
you've got your phone in your pocket. Just once in a while, pull it out, do a little, talk to the camera for a minute, and we can document it that way too.
Yeah,
it'd be fun.
Yeah, I'm always like, I'm like terrible with the social media or just anything like with stuff like that because I see there's running groups and stuff on Facebook that people are doing this run that do the same thing. Like they'll pull out their phone in a good way and kind of document their runs and different mileage that they're at, and it's just like how they're feeling and stuff. I'm like, man, it's like intense because they'll have like little running groups. They'll meet up, so it helps so much. And then just being on your own, sometimes you're just like, all right.
Well, you want to look back a couple years from now and be like, what was I doing back then, man? I'd love to have videos of me when I was 21, not knowing what the fuck I was doing.
You gonna have kids? Should we not? Is that for next time?
Yeah, that's for next time. That'll be next.
That'll be the post podcast.
Yeah, because it's gonna be. it's gonna be an experience. It'll be, I don't know. We'll see how it kind of works out. Because yeah, it's gonna be walking on the moon, but it'll be fun. Even though I'll probably feel like crap and a little bit in between.
Hey, at least you'll look good. You'll have Outrun and maybe.
Yeah, we're gonna work together on that, man.
Looking fresh would be nice.
Look good, feel good, perform good.
Yep. It's gonna be like flowing. It's gonna be awesome.
I'm excited, man. I'm excited to see it. Mike, thank you very much for coming on today, and Byrd, thank you for having them.
Thanks for having us, man.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely, this is a good deal. We'll do it again when you done with the run, man. I'm excited.
I can't
Cool.
wait. Can't wait.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.